Betsy and Thomas here for the American Intelligence Media. I'm so excited. Thomas, did you see that Elizabeth Warren is pulling together the meme team? They finally understand that we're fighting the information war, and they're finally figuring out they better get their arsenal full of good memes if they're going to win the election.
Pocahontas probably finally figured out what those feathers on her head are all about.
Listen, this is no joking matter in a way, because for years we've been saying to you guys in the community that we are fighting literally a different type of war that we would have seen with bullets and blood and bombs. This is a warfare that exists in the information domain. And for years, the enemy has been using propaganda, which is fake news and their Hollywood programming and everything, to brainwash the American people. Now, some of us woke up once we realized what was going on, and we said, oh my gosh, we've got to wake up our fellow brothers and sisters that we have been brainwashed. And so we started doing that. And of course, we're called everything conspiracy theorists and who knows what. But for Douglas and myself, the way we struck out is we decided to write this article about false flags and how they are legal propaganda against citizens by the government. And that took us every step of the way, has taken us to then find out that indeed this is a propaganda war, and it goes back over 100 years. Thomas, take us to the beginnings of these fake news propaganda wars.
Well, when in England they started to realize that newspapers brainwashed people so thoroughly that they didn't even have to read a second source. As long as they read a newspaper, the common person believed what they were told, and they enacted it. They acted upon it. In other words, they found out that the printed word, especially if you have a picture with it, and that picture speaks 1,000 words, that picture and the article, people automatically believed it, no matter what it was. And if they saw it in two sources, and we know that in 1902, really, it was the imperialists who decided to merge with the newspapermen, and also once Marconi brought in the stolen patent of Tesla, and they started using wireless, they understood that they could control the world through propaganda, yellow journalism, whatever you want to call it. The point is it's lies. And who's it telling the lies for? The people who own it. So then look who owns it. The Fourth Estate, the newspapers and the media are supposed to be the staunch defense of the Third Estate against the First and Second Estate. But what we have now is the Fourth Estate. Media is 100% part of the establishment, part of the deep state, part of the shadow government at this point. Because, these people, like an Anderson Cooper, they have no sense of humor. Rachel Madcow, they have no wit. They have no intelligence. That's the reason they can't say anything intelligent. And the reason that they, as the Democratic Opposition Research Party and media outlet, the reason they are not effective and weren't effective with Hillary, though she had donations of $1.5 billion from Eric Schmidt. She had what George Soros said that he spent $6 billion on the three elections of Obama twice and Hillary once. So she got, $2 billion from George Soros, and they couldn't defeat Trump with his free Twitter account?
Well, that's because of the memes. Back in 2015, you saw it. We were there. We were on the battlefield with people creating these memes, these videos that were just ripping Hillary apart. And because they were so edgy, they were viral. So we were able to scale our message out, and it was beyond what the media could do. In fact, the media didn't even know we were doing it and are still doing it. And so it looks like Elizabeth Warren's team is finally catching on that there's something about this meme warfare, and they need to jump in. But you see, it's sort of like, but the left can't meme because a good meme has a kernel of truth, and all they are lies and propaganda.
They're so bad at it that what you just pointed out, Betsy, is really the impetus for us getting started. When you said to me, well, tell me if this is true, what happened in San Bernardino. I said, because I'm not very technical, call me up some pictures of the scene of the crime.
Right.
We looked at the scene of the crime and saw they were memes. They were propaganda. And we saw that at least 5 of them told a completely different story about the scene of the crime, but no one had noticed. Because why? It was a black SUV. That's all they noticed. So they got the meme right, but they didn't understand, just as you just said, Betsy, content is queen. It rules. If you don't have content, you can't have a good meme. You can't have, the picture won't be effective. For instance, when you go back and you look at the pictures of the Mandalay Bay shooting, and you take a look at the videos, that's all we have to do. Look at the videos, look at the pictures. You can usually tell right away that those are staged. Because why? They're memes. They might as well have written up at the top, what it is that they want to get across in this picture that they have. Notice down at the bottom, there's no byline of who took the picture. It doesn't even say it's from the Associated Press or Reuters, nothing. They're all fake. No one wants to take the credit for those pictures because they were staged, they were fake, and the photographer would know that they were a lie. So they'd have to have a non-disclosure agreement. So when they do have these fake pictures, they're professional shots. Oh my goodness, the shots that you get from some of these false flags are professional, staged, and perfect.
And it's propaganda. And remember too, folks, that the media and our intelligence agencies were all birthed at the same place and at the same time. They are each other.
Absolutely. They used to say newspapermen they're spies. Make no mistake about it. Anderson Cooper is a rich kid. He doesn't need to be in news. His mother was
Gloria Vanderbilt.
Why would he be in the news? Because they're paid off. When you are an MK Ultra paperclip, brainwashed, brain-bleached idiot who simply reads what appears on your prompting screen, there's a reason for it, folks. It's not because they're investigative journalists or they're smart or they know anything. No, they know nothing because they did no research themselves. But they have an offshore account. That's a guarantee. Every major Democratic opposition mainstream media personality, anyone in the top 10, is being paid under the table. Period. Why? Because they're being paid to lie. They know they're lying. And so when Elizabeth Warren comes out, first off, she has no sense of humor. She has no wit. The only thing she ever did is she took a job that Obama created, which was going to be proven here soon because it's in the Supreme Court, as unconstitutional. It was nothing more than Obama picked what corporations he wished to support at the expense of the taxpayers. That's all she did. That's why it was closed. Then she became an elected official. What has she done since then? Absolutely nothing. She's as crazy as Bernie. Now, Bernie came out and he is back to his old tricks of trying to give himself a heart attack, calling Trump names without any content. And that's the problem with them. No content. We started with content, and we were a little bit obsessed with content. But what we saw was people would eventually take the content and turn it into a visual meme, an instruction, which basically shows you, and this is the point of all humor, if any good humor, well, of course some would say that a lot of humor is making fun of people. Take that out of the equation. What is humor? Humor is the wit to understand the dichotomous relationship between extremes. It's when you can see that in one situation it is absolutely absurd that a Pocahontas, a Liahontas, literally got through college with our tax dollar money because she claimed to be an Indian, and now she's going to run for president. And no one, after this has been called out, is going to hold her feet to the fire. No one's going to hold her accountable except some Republicans, particularly Trump. So the point is, she can't meme. I read the entire instructions on how she wants you to meme. It's stupid.
I know, but folks, that's in the description box. I've got a link for it because that by itself I could just spend an hour on. The instructions they give. Because remember, a while back, we were giving instructions of how to meme, how to create a meme, all that. So we were preparing our warriors, and other sites were picking up on that. They're just now trying to prepare their team on how to do it.
Oh, yeah. Elizabeth Warren is like a young child who always wants to do stuff fun, and they're told, hey, get on this bus and we're going to take a ride to hell. And she's cheering and yelling and jumping on the bus and dancing and wondering what outfit to wear to make sure that she can fit in with what's going to go on in hell. She won't even ask the question. $52 trillion to do her health care plan for everybody. And so what does the meme say? There's a meme of her standing there like an idiot. And what does it say? So you want to keep your
Medicare for all?
insurance policy when we go to Medicare for all? And then her answer is tough.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
A communist dictator is all she's telling us she will be, no less than what Nancy Pelosi wants to be, which is to impeach the president, the vice president, the whole cabinet, so she and her gang can go into the White House. She actually thinks that this is going to happen, and that's the delusion of someone who is, sorry to have to say it, on pills and medicine for the illness that she has dementia, in case you haven't noticed. So we're going to put in a person with dementia who doesn't know who the current president is. You know how many times she's called him Bush? She doesn't even know what's going on. So Warren doesn't have a clue. Warren is like the child that gets on the bus to go on the exciting adventure to hell.
Look, Warren's just there to hold space for Hillary to drop in. Hillary doesn't have the energy. I haven't seen her stand up in a long time with her interviews. She doesn't have the energy, and she doesn't want to put up with the riffraff of a primary. So she's waiting for all of these turkeys to go away, and then she's going to be their savior.
Hillary obviously has something on the left side of her back in every single setting. She will be sitting forward on the right side of her body with the whole left side hidden by, the shower curtain that she's wearing, or the muumuu that could fit 10 people in it, or the muumuu that's so big it covers the chair. Literally, I've seen this, where she literally, off the left side, will cover she never leans back, ever, and usually she has a device that is also prompting her. Now, Elizabeth Warren's instructions on memes. Instead of showing us some good memes or examples, no. There are no good leftist memes. There's no good demon rat memes. No such thing. No. Not possible. They're cruel, they're mean, they're crying, they're wimping, and they're snowflake attitudes. That's it.
But what we can do, Patriots, is we can meme their memes. And I'm going to have a collection of those already on the Cat Report. They're attempting their meming, right? That's so bad. We pick up their meme and show them how to meme it.
The one you had on the Cat Report, her as a Redskin, the kicked out of baseball Redskin icon, and it's her. And there's no words on it. No. So in other words, it's cultural appropriation.
It's our meme. We memed her.
Yes, I know.
Oh, okay.
But the point is it's got 3-4 different levels going on here.
And so it causes this implosion in your brain. And remember, the greatest thing about a meme is if it can show these contrasting sides, and it's not necessarily binary. It can be many different contrasts. And in the moment, your brain has to pick the one that resonates with truth.
For instance, when you look at that one, she's smiling so big, it shows you that she's so stupid she doesn't know that she is worse than cultural appropriation. Her family killed the Cherokees that she said she was part of. This is now a known fact. And is she going to do anything about it? No.
Oh, is this going to be like Kamala Harris? And turns out her ancestors are the biggest slave owners on this continent?
Notice also that we're talking about Elizabeth Warren when she doesn't deserve it, but she deserves it because of the fake numbers. All the fake numbers right now, again, though they fell to being reality for a little while, now they're back to total fakeness. Every single Democrat, or the top 6 or 8, will all defeat Trump, including Hillary Clinton, who's not even on the ticket. And so they're doing polls for Hillary Clinton being a candidate, and they say that even she will win against Trump. These are all fantastic lies. Unbelievable. And my point, though, is that Elizabeth Warren, in her instructions, she might as well be on her knees begging her followers, please, 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 we'll group we'll crowdsource it. We'll have one of you come up with an idea, another one come up with an image, another one come up with the technology to do it, and another one distribute it, and it'll be beautiful.
Yes, but what they don't have is an efficient network. And we started building our communication network way back in 2016. And today it can scale globally in an instant and reach millions of people in the voices that those people want to hear it in. They don't always have to hear it one way, because creators tell their story of truth in a different way.
And that's what someone came and whispered in little Elizabeth Warren's ear, is you can only win it with social media because, Elizabeth, I know you're an idiot, but try to follow the bouncing ball here, okay? George Soros, do you know who he is? Yeah, he's the one supporting you. He's the one who's given the money for you. Oh, you didn't know that? Oh, you didn't know that all your super PAC money comes first and foremost from George Soros and then from a bunch of Russians? Oh, you didn't know that? Oh, well, yeah, that's what's going on. Now, what you need to understand is George Soros said you can't win unless you use social media like he used it in 16 different regime overthrows in 16 different countries in probably, in the last 20 years or so. So, Elizabeth, you need to get on the ball. And since you are impossibly challenged with being able to write a tweet that makes any sense, and since you're a complete idiot, and since your campaign is actually run by foreigners, and since you don't even know who is running your campaign, you just go wherever they tell you to eat next, and then you flip the chicken and the hamburgers for people, and you don't even know who you're talking to. And you are as crazy as AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. You want the Green New Deal. You are so out of touch with reality, and you're basically, this is a form of just fantastic psychopathic egotism. You're not even as crooked as Bernie. Bernie knows he was crooked and he was throwing the towel in for Hillary. You don't even know what's going to come. So, sorry, you don't have a single meme. Asking a bunch of people to do it for you ain't going to work. You don't know how to write a tweet. You don't know how to use social media. And it ain't going to matter anyway because you ain't going to be the nominee. And the reason that everybody else is right up around your score is because it's all fake, Elizabeth. So if you think for 1 minute that the feedback you're getting from the press has anything to do with reality, you don't know how to spell fake news.